This is the Wired Educator Podcast, episode 256. Today's episode is titled Using AI Effectively for Teaching and Learning, and it features a powerful conversation with William Grubie of Gruvy Education. William works with educators all over the country, helping them move past the hype and actually using AI in ways that save time, protect rigor, and improve learning for students. In this conversation, we talk about what AI should be doing in classrooms, what it definitely should not be doing, and how leaders and teachers can approach this work with clarity instead of fear. If you've been curious, cautious, excited, or even skeptical about AI in education, this episode is what you need. Buckle up.
Welcome to the Wired Educator Podcast, where it's all about becoming a better educator now so you can make a greater impact and enjoy a higher quality lifestyle. And now, your host, Kelly Croy.
This is the Wired Educator Podcast, episode 256. I'm your host, Kelly Croy, and today I'm excited to share my interview with William Grubie. William and I talk about the opportunities and the obstacles of artificial intelligence in teaching and learning. He is an AI expert in education who came highly recommended to me by our outstanding assistant high school principal, Adam Hicks. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I know you're going to get a lot out of it. It was a great week to be a Wired educator. I'm just about ready to hit publish on my newsletter, and I hope you subscribe. When you do, you'll get access to templates and resources from my course, The Greatest Year of Your Life, sent directly to you. There will also be a link in the newsletter for previous subscribers so you can access these pages as well. Make sure you're on that list. I also received my first booking for speaking for 2026 for a major educational conference, and I'm so excited and so thankful. I love opening day presentations for teachers, and I can't wait to share that experience. If you or your organization or your school district or your team would like to have me at your event, please send me an email at kelly@kellycroy.com. I am here to serve, and I'm incredibly fortunate to get to do all that I get to do. This past week, I also published an awesome episode with an amazing educator, colleague, and friend, Joe Miller. We talked about his SEL symposium hosted by our school district. I hope you'll go back and check out that episode. I had an absolute joy of helping a member of the Wired Educator Squad, Leah Lacrosse, publish her first book, Reno's Toaster Troubles, a story of empathy and engineering. It's written by Leah Lacrosse and illustrated by Ella Schwartz, one of her former students. And Leah is an Apple Distinguished Educator, and she's a member of the Wired Educator Squad. So thank you, Leah, for always being in my corner, and I will always be in yours. Check out the show notes for a link to her book, the SEL Symposium with Joe, and so much more. We're now in February. How was the first month of your new year? I hope you set goals, and I hope you follow up on them. I have a special offer for you for the Greatest Year of Your Life course. For anyone who subscribes to my newsletter, you're not going to believe it. Every day is a great day to design a dynamic life and level up to make a difference. As always, I'm always working on several fun and creative projects. I have a new book in the works, and I'm absolutely in love with it, and I can't wait to share it with you. Everything takes time. I also have a brand new Keynote presentation that is out of this world, The Ambassador of Awesome. The response to this from educational leaders and friends and colleagues has been ecstatic. I'm going to tell you more about that later in an upcoming episode. And on a fun note, I just got a 3D printer for Christmas, and I have officially begun the construction of a life-size functional 3D printed R2-D2, from Star Wars. And you can check out my work on Instagram for a sneak peek. It really is a practice in tenacity because we've had some failed prints. And remember, we succeed by failing our way there. I continue to be excited and eager to serve my school district and to help educators and leaders level up and create learning environments that everyone wants to be a part of. The weather here in Ohio has been incredible and intense. We've been bombarded with snow, ice, and freezing temperature, and we've used all of our calamity days. Now, I'm so impressed with the hard work and ingenuity of our educators and our leaders as they adjust and adapt and respond to the challenge of missed school days while still engaging students and getting them excited about learning. Truly impressive. I'm also fortunate to work with amazing people. I stopped into seventh grade science teacher Jared Rohde's room on a Friday afternoon, and he had a big science explosion in the classroom. It got my attention. It got the kids' attention. I love that. Thank you for taking time out of your busy week to listen to the show. Level up as an educator and leader and make a difference in the lives of others. And now, my interview with William Grubie. William is an expert in educational artificial intelligence and an all-around great human being who is going to help us, I think, all of us get better, teach better, live better, and use AI better. So here we go. This is the Wired Educator Podcast, episode 256. I'm your host, Kelly Croy, and today I'm excited to interview my guest, William Grubie. William services educational institutes, schools, colleges, secondary, you name it. He wants to help education with artificial intelligence. And I ran across William through an assistant principal who works in our school district. He spoke very highly of William. He heard William speak at a conference, I believe in Columbus, Ohio, and that's how we connected. And we're looking forward to our district partnering with William and his company on how educators and administrators and students can best learn and use artificial intelligence. William, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to be on the Wired Educator Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. I love to take our listeners back in time to learn about school, how it was. Now, my school was a little bit longer a while ago than yours probably, but what were you like as a student in school? What did you decide to do upon graduation? And how on earth did you end up creating a company to focus on helping educators with artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I mean, in school, I went to a school that was very tiny in the southwest corner of Minnesota in a little town built around a lake. My graduating class was right around 55 to 60 right in there. So very tiny.
Wow.
Everybody knows everybody there. And I was just a very average student. I was more of the sport guy. I really liked to play sports. I was in basketball, football, and I ran track as well. But you don't got to be good to do any of those things there. You just got to show up to practice and you get to play. So that was kind of my high school journey. I was average student. And then from there, when it was time to go to college, I graduated in 2020. So it was the wonderful year of COVID. And going into college was when in the middle of those lockdowns. So the first year of college was a interesting experience. I actually first went to school for nursing, which I eventually pivoted out of. And I went to school for nursing for a year over in Mankato, Minnesota. But when I was there, I mean, you couldn't even really leave the dorm. Everything was closed down. It was just a weird first year of college experience. But I learned very quickly that nursing was not what I wanted to do. All those science classes, I turned into not so good of a student. I was trying hard, but that turned on me there. But I was always more of a math kid, and doing research, I was like, I'm going to change to computer science. And I ended up transferring over to North Dakota State University up in Fargo, North Dakota, where I got my undergrad in computer science. And then while I was there, I had some internship work that was being done with a service co-op that serviced schools with cybersecurity. And that's just where I first got hands-on with schools and technology, really got to learn how technology worked in schools through that. And I also got to learn in that internship that office job that a computer science degree would get me was probably not what I wanted to do long term, but I still really like to build things with code. That was very fun for me. So I really got into entrepreneurship, and in college, I tried and started random businesses, whether it's web development for small businesses or marketing. Never really got anywhere with those. Soon, in November of 2022, when ChatGPT came out, I saw it as this massive, massive opportunity. But also as a student, I really noticed that a lot of what I was doing, both in high school and in college, was really almost completely pointless. And I found a lot of it to be a complete waste of time. And it was something that I was super passionate about. Like, hey, we need to bring education into the 21st century. So I kind of melded my skills with using AI together with that passion about, hey, let's bring education into the 21st. And from there, I started speaking at schools about AI. I just reached out to all the area superintendents around Fargo and said, hey, this new thing called ChatGPT came out. I'm sure you saw it in the news. Let me come talk to your staff about it for an hour. I'm a computer science student at NDSU. And they were very receptive. I ended up giving like 30 of those presentations in 3 short months. It was kind of crazy. Yeah. And then from there, schools came back and said, hey, our staff really liked that. Can you actually come teach them how to use it as a tool? And I was like, yeah, but I don't know what they do day to day. So I got a lot of help from the first school. And I give a lot of credit to, his name is Patrick Walsh. He's the superintendent at Belgrade Bruton Rosa in Minnesota. And he helped me so much get started with his school and really showed me the reins of, hey, this is what they do day to day. Here's how they can use AI. And then from there, when I went and trained their staff, it really blew up across Minnesota. And I ended up partnering with the Minnesota Association of Secondary School Principals and the elementary school principals to put on a webinar series for their members on how those principals can use AI. And then from there, really spread out across Minnesota and eventually into North Dakota and nationwide as well. And now we have this training for schools that really, really drives results as far as teacher buy-in, having teachers change the way they're teaching because AI exists, but also just how can they use it as a tool in their everyday life as well.
That's awesome. I love how you saw an opportunity, and you're incredibly knowledgeable, but also incredibly passionate about this particular area. And I love people who shout out other people's names. So kudos to you for shouting out that superintendent. You know, in schools, we just see ourselves on a journey to help kids, and it sounds like you just have the right attitude. I love that, you know, you have a willingness to continue learning. You said that you weren't sure how schools operated and what they needed, and you figured that out now, and you got a nice system. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it was a fast learning experience in the past 3 years. I feel like I have a very, very good understanding of just what different people and their roles in the school do day to day. So it's been a really fun learning experience for me.
Sure. And so I love Port Clinton City Schools. That's where I work. I love hosting this podcast, and I do a lot of creative things on my own as well. And as I often share on this podcast, I interview guests for 3 primary reasons. 1, I personally want to get better. 2, I want to be able to go back as the director of innovation and instruction for our school district and help our educators and help our students with the real challenges and obstacles that they're facing. And 3, I figure if I can celebrate and promote the great work of other people, it benefits people around the world. And so I'm hopeful, William, you can help me do that today. So I'm using AI. I have no idea if I'm using it right or not. Sometimes I feel like it creates more work for me because it's just, I feel like I'm using it like a search engine. But I have to say, like, I enjoy talking with it. It makes me think differently about things I'm interested in. For instance, I bought a 3D printer, and AI has been teaching me how to do it. And I just take screenshots of the work that I'm doing, and it has taught me a lot in the last few weeks. Now, our school district's a little bit different. We have an amazing staff, and man, they really are making a difference in the lives of students. But we have, you know, really smart people, really caring individuals who see AI differently. And I want to hear them all. But one of our challenges right now is some of our teachers see AI as preventing students from staying in the rigor of the work, of the learning. Math might be an area or things like that, because part of the problem, I'm sure you know, as a computer science student, is to be able to stick with something long enough to figure it out. And I know that our districts are going to partner with you and use you, and I'm excited about that. But in the short term, like, what would you say to an educator like that? And what do you think of my thoughts on AI so far? I mean, what advice do you have to give me?
Yeah, I think with like a lot of the concerns about AI, like it taking away rigor, those are incredibly valid and very true concerns. And it's things that, you know, we bring up at schools that, like, yes, when students use it to do their homework, they're not developing critical thinking skills. They're not developing problem solving skills. They're simply not thinking for themselves. Well, they have the ability to have their own unique thoughts, to have their own independent opinions, but also they're just taking the easy way out. So will they develop any grit to be able to do hard things. And that is such a huge thing that when students use AI as a crutch, those things are absolutely happening. It's taking those things away from them. But given that we know the tools are going nowhere, it's competition between companies, but most importantly between countries. Yes, we can complain about how AI is might not have a net positive, and nobody really knows if it's going to have a net positive or a net negative. But it's kind of this race between us, China, like it's not going to stop. And it's because it's not going away. What can we do to make sure we're capitalizing on the positives of AI while mitigating the risks? And that's really the vision that we bring to schools is, hey, we know it's not going away. So how can we make sure that we're capitalizing on the positives and mitigating the risks? How can we change the way that we're giving out assignments and delivering curriculum to make sure that we're pushing students to go further than what AI can offer to make sure that rigor does not go away? And the cool thing about AI is we can use it to bring education into the 21st century. Before we look at something and we want to change a worksheet, that's the next 3 hours of that teacher's life is figuring out what they're going to change the worksheet into, writing that worksheet, making it nice and clear for the student. That's a very long process. But now we have this tool that can give them a massive starting point and help them make those changes and bring their ideas to implementation much, much faster. So when it comes to like the concerns about AI, they're just all so incredibly valid and incredibly important things to bring up, because the next question is, after a concern is brought up, what can we do about it given these truths that we know? That we know that AI is not going away, that we know that 92% of students regularly use AI. What can we do given those two truths to tackle some of those negatives?
Yeah. And it's not to quit using technology all out, right? So, but I remember, like I started teaching in 91. That actually was a year. And I remember we had like a little spell checking machine. And one of my colleagues thought as a teacher, that was wrong for me to use that, because she's like, you should already know how to spell every word, and the kids shouldn't be seeing that. I thought that's crazy, and saw the birth of the internet. I was one of the first classrooms to be one-on-one with MacBooks, and every step along the journey, we've grown with the tools, and we've gotten better with the tools. And we will do the same with AI. And I think one of the things we're finding, AI is a pretty good teacher in itself, not to replace teachers, but it really can instruct, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a massive learning tool. If the student's motivated to use it as a learning tool, it's truly incredible. I know I use it as a learning tool every single day in college. If I was preparing for an exam, I could go back through all my past assignments, take the study guide, take any questions that were fuzzy, throw it in, take the right answer, throw it in, and just say something as simple as, hey, explain to me in detailed steps like I've never taken this course before, how we got from problem to answer. And I break it down into super, super simple steps, and I could actually understand the process of the problem and the work that I was doing. So when it came to the exam, I knew what to do, not off of memorizing steps, but off of the actual principles of that problem. So a massive learning tool if students are motivated to use it as one.
Yeah, awesome. I remember, some of the great moments early on, one-on-one with the MacBook in the classroom. We created things and published things that we could have never done before having that tool. But also, I remember the power of being able to close the lid. And, we didn't have to use it on every assignment.
Mm-hmm.
That really still is an option. Even though we're not getting rid of technology, there are times when maybe we shouldn't have technology in the classroom for moments, right? I mean, that's real. Yes?
Yeah, I think in-class activities where, there's like something, I still remember a in-class activity I did in school where it was this game called Trash Ball, and we all had one-to-one iPads. There was no iPads in this game called Trash Ball, where we got in two teams. One person in each team was up. The teacher put a problem up on the board. The first person to solve that problem right got to shoot a crumpled up piece of paper into the recycling bin to score their team a point. And everybody was always excited to play Trash Ball, and those iPads didn't leave the desk because we were playing a game. There was no technology helping in any way. And I think in-class activities are a great way to get students engaged without the devices. Yeah. Additionally, it's a great way to get students to learn by doing and really make sure that they have that rigor.
That's awesome. So it's not an either or, it's a mix of the two, and it's a process. So when you go to help districts or help educators, you have a lot of different prongs that you offer. You are a keynote speaker. You also do workshops and you facilitate, but you also have online modules, and you kind of combine all that into a process for districts. Could you explain a little bit that to our listeners who might be interested in working with you?
Yeah. So we value very hands-on work. I noticed very early that a lot of the AI sessions that were going on were super informational, not very hands-on, and they would throw out 8 tools, try this, try this, try this, try this, this can do this, you can do that with that, but nothing stuck. So I built the training portal, which all the schools that we work with get access to. And how the training works is we either train the staff in person or virtually via Zoom, but all of the staff is actively following along inside of the training portal the whole time. And inside of that training portal, there's polls that we're doing, there's step-by-step activities that we're walking through. They have a resource library in there. So during the whole training, they are hands-on, learning the whole time, and of course, given time to explore and apply what we learned to their specific practice, to their specific role. But all of the links are right inside of the training portal to make it nice and easy and interactive for everybody.
Wonderful. And when you facilitate in person, you kind of do the same thing. You have people actively use the tools. You don't just tell them how awesome it is. You let them experience it.
Yeah, it's the majority of the training is all hands-on, them experience it. Everybody just comes with their personal devices. They log into the training portal and they're following along the whole time right inside of the training portal there.
Awesome. So unfair question. So when you do like the opening keynote or talk,
yeah,
what's kind of the central message around that? Like, it's not going away, that we've got to learn to, marry the two. Is that kind of the theme of it?
Yeah, the central message is, going into how teachers can use it as a tool, of course, but also going into how students are using it to cheat, showing how fast the tools are getting better, how it's completely transforming every single industry. Like a crazy stat is now 75% of employers expect college graduates to be proficient in AI before entering the workforce. So really bringing them through that journey so they understand where AI is at, where it's going. It's not going away. So because it's not going away, what can we do? And we talk about terminating the arms race that's happened between education and anti-cheating technology, and instead making it more impossible to cheat by the way the curriculum is given. So students not only get to learn how to use technology in a productive way, but of course they are still learning.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I know that, my AI use has to be so, I know there's so many other AI tools out there I'm not using. So I believe I'm using mostly just LLM, right? Like large language models.
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT on my phone. Our school district uses Gemini, which I love. And because I'm a paid X user, I have access to Grok, and I kind of mess around with those 3. But there are other AI tools I'm not even aware of that like do video, and I don't even know what all they do. They create all sorts of things. Do you work with those as well?
I try and stick to the most practical, helpful tools. Yeah, there are video generators and pretty cool image generators as well, but there's not many practical use cases that are going to save people a lot of time day to day. It's kind of just like a cool tool, like, hey, we can do this. It is integrated into like some stuff that Notebook LM does, which is a Google tool inside of the Google suite. Like, for example, a teacher could upload a research paper and just press a button that says make a podcast, and it will be just 2 AI voices talking back and forth to each other. And now there's even an interactive mode where you can interrupt the conversation. You can ask questions and the podcaster stop, answer your question, and then continue their conversation. So those are some of the like real practical use cases when it comes to audio generation, video generation. There's a video overview tool inside of Notebook LM. I'm not sure how much of actual video generation that uses. It looks more like kind of pictures, slides that it brings the student through, and it's more audio over it. I'm explaining the topic. But really the most practical, useful tools are going to be those large language models like ChatGPT, like Gemini, like Grok.
Yeah, wonderful. I follow CNET, and I love they go to the technology conferences and things. And, I think everybody's probably seen examples of smart glasses with AI built into them. But I saw something on a feed that I wouldn't even know would be a thing. It was smart headphones, and the headphones had cameras in them, and it just sees stuff and talks to the person in there. And I don't know. I just think like AI is going to be embedded into a lot of things. Is it in cars? Do we know if it's in cars yet? I know in China, I believe it is.
It was I was taking an Uber to the airport, and there's a Tesla, and the Uber driver was talking to Grok in his car. So yes, it's it. Yes, it's it.
Wow.
Grok is in Teslas, but yeah, a lot of those wearables like the glasses, I know Meta has those Meta
Yeah.
glasses now that has
Right.
their llama built into it, which is their large language model. A lot of those, none of them seem to really like stick. I don't think it's quite there yet to make it like a useful thing day to day. And then also, do you constantly want to be looking through a screen all day? I
Yeah.
feel like that might mess with your eyes a little bit. I don't know. I've never worn them,
Right.
but
Yeah.
yeah, who knows if
Who
those will
knows?
ever catch on. And part of me hopes not. We're already too glued to our phones. We don't need them on our
Yeah.
face.
Well, I saw a rumor too. Apple might have like a Siri pin that just a
Yeah.
wearable. Yeah, that's interesting. I like to ask a litany of unfair questions. So, what is a great example of a difference that you've made for a school district? Like everybody loves to get excited and motivated, but what do you deliver on? What have you seen a change in a district that you're really proud of?
Yeah, we just recalculated our stats for the schools as far as time saving. And before we go to a school, typically the teachers, they fill out a pre-training check form to make sure we meet them at the right spot that just asks them a couple questions on how often they use AI. And typically 30 to 55% of the teachers use AI tools regularly. And when we leave a school now, 95% of teachers use AI tools regularly. And I can't remember the exact number. I think it was 92% expect to save at least 1 hour per week. And about 1/3 of them expect to save 3+ hours per week. So those are kind of just the quick stats off that we calculate and we track on our end. But other than that, it's just like loads and loads of teachers just saying thank you for giving them a new outlook on AI, but kind of giving them a clear path forward. It's this big world of unknowns. I think the negatives get talked about quite a bit, which is completely normal and probably a good thing. But when somebody can say, hey, yes, these negatives are a possibility. So what can we do to make sure those aren't happening? And then giving them a clear path forward with that, it just really helps with teacher buy-in, people wanting to use the tool, but also understanding what they can do to make sure that they're using it in a responsible way and they're making sure students are still learning.
Yeah. So the government, federal government, state government, other agencies, probably even teachers, administrators are having higher expectations on AI use. And so you help solve that issue as well. Did I cover most of the major challenges and obstacles educators face with AI, or did I miss some? There's some other pieces that you see people are concerned with.
Yeah, we hit on the big ones like critical thinking, problem solving, them just not thinking for themselves, the rigor. A couple of extra ones that just come to top of mind is them just getting a mastery of a topic. You mentioned they have to stick to something for a long time for them to master a topic. Like when educators are using AI, eighth grade history teacher decides to use AI. That teacher's been teaching for 20 years. They have a mastery of a topic and now they're taking AI and applying it to that mastery of a topic. But if students never master a topic, they have nothing to apply AI to. It's used to solve problems in your domain expertise. That's where it's most powerful. You know the problem, you know probably how the problem can be solved, and then you're using AI to do that. So I think the lack of students getting a mastery of a topic because they don't stick to things is a huge, huge thing. And then additionally, just general information control. If people are just blindly believing and blindly using AI tools, they can absolutely be blindly influenced by AI. If everybody blindly believes a tool and all of a sudden it's spitting out this specific fact, it's always giving you that answer in a confident way. So it's very hard to tell when it's wrong. So people can just very easily blindly believe inaccurate information and not really critically think about that. And tools are bound to have bias because they're trained off of human text. They're developed by humans. Humans have bias. AI is bound to have bias. And if people blindly believe them, again, they're going to be blindly influenced. And we see this on social media every single day.
Yes.
AI algorithms that power our feed are all feeding us a different set of information. And if our beliefs are based off of the information that we take in, you can see how AI is already blindly influenced in the way maybe most people think right now today.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've just recently learned of AI's presence in so many areas of my life that I didn't even know it was. Like, searching in Amazon is driven by AI. Our teachers taught me that, kids were just dragging math problems into Google search bar. And it was it's now built with AI and things like that. So I can only imagine where else it might be. But yeah, it's definitely not going away. And I'm so glad that we have people like you that can help us. Unfair question. Teacher just says flat out, I don't want to use AI. How would you guide someone like me to work with that teacher?
Yeah. I haven't run into this for a long time,
Okay.
but I've definitely ran into it a couple of times. And sometimes it's like, there's really not much you can do. If they don't want to use it, they absolutely refuse. That's completely their choice. They have their own free will. And I definitely don't want to shove it down their throat. My job is to just show them a clear path forward of, if you want to use it, here's how we can do this in a safe way. So it's definitely not something that I would want to like shove down that you have to use it, but I just want to show them a clear path forward with it. And if they decide that, that path, they don't like it, they can make that choice to not walk down that path.
Yeah, I really am proud of our district. I think our teachers really do have the right approaches. And even when there seems to be a challenge or an obstacle, it's coming from the right place, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not defiance. It's like, it's for the kids. They really are putting the kids' future in mind. We offer at our school district Gemini, Notebook LM, Magic School, and several other AI tools. Our biggest challenge really, and the same with working with you, William, is our school calendar. It's just, we don't have the time built into our school year for all of the professional learning that we need. And it's something I know our district leadership team and, our administrators are at least thinking about, of how we can have like pivot time available for when innovations like this pop up and we really want to work on it. We want to have you come to our district, but finding that day and that time that doesn't fit in. What advice do you have for a district like ours who's rich in tools but lacks the professional time to make it happen, to get the training they need?
Yeah. I wish I had a magic answer for you, but it's really just time set aside for teachers to dive into it. It's just, people are so busy. I mean, everybody's just so busy. They're waking up, maybe they have kids, they're getting the kids ready for school, they're getting themselves ready for school. They're going to school for 7 hours, and then after school, some of them are sport coaches. They go off and coach sports. Some of them have a mountain of paper. Like, people are just so busy. There's just simply not enough time in the day to learn how to use AI and have time set aside for it. So I think even something as simple as like a 2-hour sit down, hands-on, where it's structured and there's a proven roadmap. You take these steps, you learn these things, and you understand how to use AI in your specific role. I think that's just so valuable for the teachers. Just time set aside and just having a proven roadmap, not like a document where it's like, hey, here's a link to Magic School, here's a link to ChatGPT, try them out, but just like a proven roadmap of, hey, we learned this about prompt design. We go into exactly how each position can use it in their specific roles and really give them time to implement it.
Yeah, I love it. You're absolutely going to want to contact William, because when you do contact William, you instantly learn. Like, I was lucky enough to have a short conversation with William prior to this interview. It leveled me up personally and professionally. Then even his email interactions, you learn a lot just from that, like reading your emails, like the organization level, the focus point of service that you provide for people. But then your email had links to like prompts and other useful information. And I just found working with you, just in the little bit that we did, to be incredibly helpful for me.
Oh, I appreciate that. I do try really hard. So thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. That, I'm not even sure what to call it, but like that menu that you sent me was robust. I mean, it had a lot right there. So that was well worth it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great. So just to clear up, the sky is not falling, correct?
Not yet. No, it's not.
We're going to be all right. And I'm curious, like, we want to do things right. We're on a journey. We know we're going to make mistakes, but we're always going to get back up and dust ourselves off and get after it. Are there any mistakes that you've seen districts make in terms of AI? Any warnings you would send our way of what not to do?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest mistakes that districts make. And I'm seeing it more and more now that we're like 3 years into this thing, and schools are like, hey, we need to get students using AI in the classroom right now. They need to know how to use it, responsible use. But they forgot the step of changing the way they're teaching so AI isn't being used as a crutch. And then additionally, they forgot the step of teaching the teachers how to integrate it into the classroom in a way that's not taking away the productive struggle, and it's actually helping students learn. So I think that rush into that without the, hey, how do we do this in the right way can be a massive mistake. And it's all, of course, all coming from the right mindset. Hey, we need to prepare students for the future. It's all about the students and making sure that they're ready for the future, which they're definitely correct, but we also need to make sure it's being done in the right way. So I'd say that's the biggest mistake that I'm seeing right now, is just rolling that out without guidelines or kind of that perspective shift.
Yeah. I do also know some districts who offer no AI tools to the staff or students. And I'm kind of surprised by that,
Yeah.
but I know those kids probably have them on their phones afterwards.
Yeah.
It is interesting that, the state of Ohio for us had a mandate. We were actually ahead of it about cell phone use in schools. And so students are not allowed to have cell phones during schools. We actually did that a year prior to that mandate coming through. And it is fascinating to hear kids and teachers and leaders alike sharing the positives of that. And now by July 1st, we're asked to submit an AI policy of our district to the state that goes on file. And it's on, you can go to Ohio Department of Education and find that. Any cautions or ideas you might have on what we might want or not include on something like that? Or you'd probably have to look at it before you can make a real recommendation.
Yeah, I definitely probably want to look at it before I make a real recommendation. I would just, I know a lot of schools have also just been adding in, like, to their plagiarism policy, adding in a little AI section there, kind of adding to existing policy. But also there's a lot of districts that have fantastic resources out there, like just sharing like the policy that they wrote, and the districts that were fast to it, there's been a lot of an iterative process in the past 3 years where maybe they've rolled something out and then tweaked things and made it exactly what they want, and just kind of like that iterative process of improvement. I know, gosh, I was one of the big schools in Minnesota that was very quick to policy is St. Cloud School District, and they have all of it published on their website. And when I was at the AI Super Summit for AASA, there was one other school that was running like half of these sessions at this event. And they were sharing all of their so there's also like fantastic resource to be able to look at what other school districts are doing and take what you like, leave what you don't like, look over here, kind of take what you like, leave what you don't like. I think all of that's super helpful.
I want AI Super Summit on my resume. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic event. Yeah.
That's great. William, I love all that you're sharing. I got to know though, I have a bit of a competitor. I was in sports like you. Who's killing it? Like, do you know of an educator that's just absolutely crushing it, or a school district that's just like their game's on fire right now with AI, or is that an unfair question?
I would say, I don't know if I'll name a specific school district, but I will name an educator. His name is Luke Cumbie. He's an educator at Sioux Falls School District. He was someone that reached out to me before we trained their staff this August. And he was just super passionate about AI and wanting to help in any way. And when we trained the Sioux Falls School District High School, where he came up to me after, and he was showing me all of these amazing ways that he was using it. He runs like an economics class, and he's building out these simulations with ChatGPT custom GPTs. And really, it's really helping his students not only learn, but also it's keeping them super engaged because they're cool tools.
Yeah.
And from that, he actually started delivering trainings on Gruvy Education's behalf. And he's delivered a ton of trainings now. And it's been an incredible experience for me because I've learned so much for him, because he's from the teacher world. I've kind of been an outsider looking in and doing my absolute best to tailor it to exactly what they want. But having somebody else to be able to bounce ideas off of it has been incredible. And he does such amazing things. He's still a teacher at the Sioux Falls School District High School, and he does some very innovative and very impressive things with AI and his students.
Well, that's awesome. So there, I got a goal. I want to be a speaker for Grube AI leadership at a AI super summit.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome. That's great. So you're building a team. I want you to know this, William, and I mean this in the most endearing way possible. You are an educator. You really are. This is the Wired Educator Podcast, and you are teaching educators, how to make a difference in the lives of kids using AI. So welcome to the team and the journey. I can't wait to see where you take your company. I'm super proud of you. You're so polished and professional. And I'm a little bummed that we've missed our opportunity for our district to work with you and someone else has already grabbed the date. But I hope you remember this interview, and when I reach out again, you'll squeeze us in somewhere. So I hope that can happen.
No, we'll definitely find the date. I generally appreciate you having me. It means a lot.
Yeah. Hey, I want to wrap up. I want to ask just a few fun questions, and every one of these is going to be unfair to you. But they're fun for me because this is how I really level up. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So are you a book reader, William? Do you like to read books and things like that? Listen to books?
I do try and read books. I always get like 2 chapters in, and then I see another book that I want to read, and I'll pick up that. I like reading a book until I have a piece that I can go and use, and then I kind of set it down, and I might pick up another one, and then I'll pick that one up in the future and read further and pick another piece out of it. But yes, I do.
That might be a smarter way to read. I don't know. Well, I always like to learn from my guests, like a most influential read or idea that they got through reading, because as a former ELA teacher, I really believe that books change lives. And I've had a few books in my life that really made a difference. Any book that stands out as one you'd recommend or gift or an idea from a book?
Yeah. I'm gonna give 2 here. One's gonna be more on the entrepreneurial side, and then they're both gonna be pretty entrepreneur based. One will be more like heavy, dense, like textbook type thing. Probably the book that I can't recommend the most if you are getting into starting a business it's a book called $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozian. This book truly changed my life. This is how I came up with the AI training offer that I still do at schools right now. It is just incredible. It walks you exactly through, like, this is how you structure an offer. And it answers the question when you're starting a business, what do I sell? That is the question that it answers, and it answers it very well, very clearly. This is how you build value in your offer and make it actually good so people want to buy it. That book, amazing. After that, a book that has also had a massive impact on my life is a book called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. I realized very quickly, because of that $100 Million Offers book, I had a lot of schools and I was running completely out of time. There was no time left in my day, and I probably wasn't getting everything done that I wanted it done. And I had no idea how to delegate, how to even start that process, what that looked like, who's your first hire, what do you do, how do you tell them to do stuff in a way where it's done and you have good leadership skills. And that book, Buy Back Your Time, gives you this step-by-step process through your first hire, through all the way at your end of your business career. And that book has saved me an insane amount of time and actually helped me build something where I have some time left in my day where I can have lunch.
That's awesome. William, you are so ahead of everybody else your age. It is really awesome. And that's great. What's a practice or a thought that you're using right now that's just really working well for you? For me, this year, I'm just focused in on being a healthier version of Kelly Croy. And so I've kind of, staying away from sugar, and that's been a good practice for me. And just quiet time, just like really just quiet, like not music, not audiobooks, not TV, just sitting down. Anything working for you?
Yeah, right now I'm really focused on a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now is more the boring work. It's kind of like the calm season. I'm not delivering as many trainings right now just because there's not many PE days going on right now. So it's a lot of like the boring work of reaching out to schools. So it's kind of just reminding yourself that, this is what hard feels like when you really don't want to do it. People say starting a business and running a business and doing this thing is hard. And in the moment where you really don't want to do it, just reminding yourself, this is what hard feels like. And then you start doing it in 10 minutes and it's fun. So it's no longer this like thing like, oh, I don't want to do this. So it's really just kind of staying in momentum and doing it regardless of how you feel is really what is going on, helping me a lot right now. If there's this thing that I don't want to do, just getting started, whether I feel like doing it or not.
Yeah.
That's what's been most helpful.
That's good. I think I always tell people we overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year and we
Hmm.
underestimate what we can accomplish in 10 minutes,
Hmm.
So I think there's a lot of truth to that. Things. We're not supposed to want things and gadgets and tools and stuff like that, but I am a gadget guy. I love going to Mac rumors and seeing what people supposedly think Apple's going to come out with next. Do you have your eye on a gadget or something you want? Or do you have a favorite gadget or thing that you can't live without?
Being a Gen Z kid, I have really bad impulse control. So a lot of like a lot of the gadgets that I want, sometimes I just pull the trigger. Like
Yeah.
yesterday, I'm at my desk and I'm not getting any steps in. So I got a walking treadmill from under my desk, and
Nice.
Amazon was one dayed it, and I was like, I didn't know you could one day a treadmill, but hey, we'll do it. But I really want a want that I push off and will continue to keep pushing off for a while is a nice watch. I really want a nice watch, like a nice Rolex or something, but just not the smartest thing to do. Might as well just push it down the road for as long as I can until I just can't and give in.
I'm a big journaler, William, and I always found I like things as well. I like nice things, and I have found when I have a page in the back of my journal called "I want," and when I write down something I want, it takes like 90% of the desire away, but
Mhm.
because it almost feels like I have it when I write it down. I like nice watches too.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Two more, and then we'll wrap up. So I have to ask something about AI, right? So, like, what's a way you're using AI, or what was like when did your mind just kind of blow up with AI, or what's a way you're using AI right now that's just like, I'm onto something, like is really kind of remarkable to even you?
Yeah. Of course, everybody right when they start using it has that like big aha moment, like, holy moly, this thing is very powerful. But I know like probably 2 years ago, probably around that time, I figured out how to use it to create standard operating procedures. And by simply just recording myself doing the task inside of a Zoom and recording the screen and talking as I was doing it and just explaining the task as I was doing the task, like I was teaching it to somebody, and then taking that transcript, uploading it into ChatGPT and asking it for a step-by-step standard operating procedure. Nothing has saved me more time than that. That has saved me probably a year of my life already, just from
Wow.
general task delegation. It does an incredible job not missing anything, and it's just very, very powerful. So that was a huge unlock for me with AI. And then lately it's just been the power of context. Whether I have this document that's just titled business context, and it just has like 50 questions that I asked ChatGPT to ask me for the context that it needed about my business for pretty much anything. And then I went through and answered all 50 questions. And then when I'm doing really anything, I just attach that document. It's way
Wow.
more powerful than configuring the custom instructions in the settings because it's way more context. And I have what I call my AI assets. So, for example, in my AI assets folder, I just have a document full of all of the newsletters that I've ever written that I like, full of all of the meeting follow up emails that I sent that I really, really like. After I'm like, if I need to draft the newsletter and I want to get a good head start on it, I can attach that on. And then it has like exactly like my tone, just like tons and tons of examples to pull from on how I like to write newsletters. And that's been super helpful as well.
That's awesome. William, listening to you, this is going to be an episode I'm going to have to go back and listen to twice because it's so full of so many great ideas. One final question. So, like, I want you to know this from like an educator father to you, William, if I may. You're remarkable. You are unlike most people I've ever met, and it just jumps out of you. And I know you're not even trying. That's just genuinely who you are. You're very, very authentic. And I appreciate that so much. This is a new question I've been trying out with guests this year. What would you say is one of your unfair advantages in life that you have? Um, just an unfair advantage in life, like makes you be able to do the things that you do. because you are remarkable.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you. I would say definitely, without a doubt, my biggest unfair advantage was good role models growing up, and my parents, just very, very loyal, hardworking people that just showed me the way through their actions. And that's truly the biggest unfair advantage that I have. And it's not close to anything else, and just their unwavering support from, some kid who was completely lost after his first year of college for transfer and really had no path. But I remember when I was transferring for computer science, and I went to my dad and I said, hey, can I buy this coding course online? I didn't have any money, so I was asking him for the money. And he without hesitation, he was like, absolutely, I'll support your education in any way.
That's awesome.
And from that, that launched so much. So really good role models and support from my parents would be my largest unfair advantage.
That's awesome. Great shout out. You're awesome. I am going to give you the last word, but everything William Grubie is going to be in the show notes. So if you're listening to the podcast, or if you're watching this on video, or however you're interacting with us, check out the show notes. There'll be links to how you can reach out to William and his company, and how you can partner with them. We're going to do it. I'm going to keep my eye on William and hope to build a great friendship with him, because I know he's going places, and he's already helped me in so many, many, many ways. William, thank you for your time tonight away from your family and all your other projects to help me and others level up. I want to give you the last word to educators listening to this podcast. What message do you have for them this cold January evening with AI and all the other news on our minds?
Yes, I think the biggest thing is it's always important to unplug a little bit. There's constant AI news, AI new tips and tricks being thrown at your face. Lots of times it's sometimes just turn off at night and let the thoughts collect themselves and clear your brain. So there's a lot of different things going on constantly in our world. So just taking a moment to take a breath. And I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you, William. This is the Wired Educator Podcast. Thanks for taking time out of your busy week to listen to the show, level up, and make a difference in the lives of others. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Wired Educator Podcast at www.wirededucator.com.